Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, where you can sign up for the Shannons Club, and Penrite Oil, offering technical assistance 7 days a week.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Classic Restos. Of course, not possible without the continued support from Shannons Insurance and Penrite Oil. And how good is Shannons Insurance? They offer us as the motoring enthusiast just so much more. Why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and ask more information with one of their friendly operators on 134646. You can also find out a whole lot more when you visit Shannons online and to sign up to become a member of the Shannons Club at shannons.com.au. The Shannons Club truly is your garage. Have a go at this. The elephant engine, the mighty 426 Hemi. Can it run on Penrite Oil? You betcha it can. And if you're not too sure on the type of lubricant, coolant or fuel additive that you should be using, why not take advantage of the Penrite Technical Assistance line there to help us 7 days a week. Find out more when you visit penriteoil.com.au. Oil right, use Penrite, simply a better class of oil. Now on today's show, I have travelled to Hampton, near Melbourne in Victoria, to the cafe of Mr Willis for their Christmas coffee and cars. Now this coffee and cars theme has really taken off. It originated in the United States of America, and it's just another excuse for like-minded enthusiasts to catch up, talk some crap and have a bit of a laugh. But I can tell you one thing, there's no better start to the day than having a positive attitude and enjoying a great cup of coffee. Coffee and cars. Okay, coffee, I get it. Cars, I get that. Combine the two, and I guess it spells out a simple recipe for relaxation and a little motor enthusiast catch up for a few hours before you either go somewhere else or home to cut the grass. Either way, it's an excuse to grab your favourite latte and drink it with your little finger poking out whilst leaning on your bonnet, contemplating the appreciation that you're not actually at work. But if you can turn your work into fun, it has to be a bonus.
Well, Fletch, what Mr Willis is trying to achieve with Coffees and Cars is basically to allow all the classic cars come to Mr Willis car park at the back and enjoy the day with the locals, especially with all the locals classic cars around here that we thought we'd promote it. And the classic cars is a very sort of deliberated sort of attraction that they want to see, because Father's Day here this year attracted nearly about 60 cars, and that's through the Bayside community. So that's what we're trying to achieve here. Where do I hear about the Coffees and Cars, or the idea for Coffees and Cars, is through Greg, a friend of mine from Geelong. He's also a car enthusiast and has a group of friends that's got classic cars to, new cars. What's so good about Mr Willis at the moment is the fact that we've got a young team. They're very enthusiastic about making good coffees and a good brand. And the fact of that is that the service, and wanting them to actually have some fun giving that service as well from Mr Willis. There's no better combination than having to have a coffee at Mr Willis, getting to see some classic cars and enjoying each other's company, and especially a day like this for Christmas or prior to Christmas is that we get a big group of people and young kids to come and see Santa as well. So that's a good thing about Mr Willis today, and a good coffee.
What a glorious day, coffee and cars. First cab off the rank, we have Cole here at Hampton. How are you, Cole?
Well, Fletch.
That's the way, mate. Thanks for turning up.
No problem.
You've got a bit of a gem here, a 1966 Charger. I tell you what, when it comes to big cars, opulence, exuberance, it's pretty hard to go past a 66. How did you end up with this car?
Found it on eBay.
That's good. Anyway, nice chatting, mate. Now, it's in the serious department, though. How do you feel having a Hemi 66 Charger?
Very special, actually. It's something I really wanted. I wanted a big block, and when I started sourcing for big blocks, I couldn't go past the Hemi.
How long have you had it?
About 5-6 years.
It must have been an incredible feeling when the tick came up and you're the successful purchaser of this car.
Yeah, I was actually. I was real chuffed, and more chuffed even when the thing arrived. Yeah. And I was more chuffed again when I get in the car by myself, just driving, knowing I've got a Hemi in front of me.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
So do you have to set up a big bank loan? I mean, do you own it when you're 125 and paying it off? What's the go there?
You don't get anything out of America for free, so no, it was paid for.
The 66 car behind us here, the Elephant engine, the legendary Hemi 426, is it a matching numbers car?
Yeah, from the engine to the gearbox to the axles, it's the same.
Tell us about the history. What do you know of the car and its former life in the United States?
I've spoken to the original owner. He lived just south of Detroit. He bought it as a family car. He told me that the wife...
As you do.
Yeah, well, in those days. But his wife drove it to the shops. That was just his daily driver.
What's it like to drive, Cole? Is it showing its age? Have you replaced any front end parts or anything like that?
The car's been totally rebuilt from front to back. It drives just like a 60s, mid-60s car. It's all over the shop with the conventional tyres. But, you know, that's just how they are.
Yeah, little narrow tyres. It's like riding a penny farthing up a beach, Cole.
Yeah, she's 5.5 inches wide. It's got drum brakes all around, so...
It's incredible too, the 66 Charger, then the transition to the 68. The 66, to me, had an incredible cool styling around the rear. I mean, real rocket ship inspired. But the opulent interior, I mean, they were just on their own, weren't they?
Well, it was the car that started the Charger line off. So, of course, they're going to bung everything in.
This interior, though, I mean, when you stop and think about it, who made a car with a console that was 6 feet long?
Yeah, well, no one.
I mean, there's a lot of wipes that you can fit in that and drinks and stuff.
Well, even if you drop the rear seat down, you can go from the back all the way to the back of the front seat, which is about 7 foot long.
That's it. Big long console, sports car, 4 bucket seats. Doesn't get much cooler than that. Cole, it's been great talking to you.
Sure, Fletch. Sure.
Thanks, mate.
Not a problem.
Better go and grab your coffee. When it comes time for the very best in classic vehicle, home and contents insurance, why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and for further information? 134646. And if you haven't become a member of the Shannons Club yet, why don't you do so when you go online at shannons.com.au? And I'll tell you something, you'll be there for hours. It's an incredible website. Penrite Oil, been around since 1926. The technical assistance team there to help us 7 days a week. Find out more about Penrite at penriteoil.com.au. You're watching Mr Willis, Coffee and Cars. Back with more right after this. A bit of a transition from a 66 Charger now to a 69 Charger. How are you, Steve?
I'm very well, Fletch. Thank you very much.
So, mate, thanks for bringing the big girl along.
Thank you.
Now, tell us about this particular car.
This is a 1969 Dodge Charger. Originally came out of New York in about 2008, I think, 2009 to the previous owner. I own it now. He done all the bodywork to it. He replaced the floor, replaced the rear quarters. Engine had been rebuilt before it came to Australia, and we were just lucky enough to get it in our possession now. So
it was just like 4 wheels and a seat when you got it.
Basically, mate. Yeah, very happy, very happy.
Plans from here with the car. Now, what's your thought on it? Are you going to keep it until you're a little shriveled up old man, or are you going to offload it? What's the go?
Oh, 100%. This is staying with us forever now. It fell in me lap, basically. It was a local car, come from the next suburb over. I could have gone to the States and done all the big thing and try and find it. It was a big block car. It was a factory 383. It's now running a 440. Console auto. It was everything I wanted in a Dodge Charger, and I got it. It's black, got the white ribbon on its bum, got the white interior, and it's just a beautiful car to drive, and that's it.
You're a happy man, aren't you?
Oh, 100%. I've always wanted one. I got one. I'm very happy.
He's got lipstick on both ears from smiling so much. And he's got the good shirt on too, mate. Well, how'd you score that?
Oh, it just fell on me. It just walking down the street and it fell on me. But Penrite in the gear, runs all Penrite through it, and that's the way to be, yeah.
Oh, you've got to stick with the strength, mate. There's no two ways about that. And major sponsors of Classic Restos, find them at classicrestos.com.au. Steve, thanks for coming along today, mate, sharing the 69 with us. Beautiful car. Thanks again, buddy.
Thank you very much, Fletch. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, here we go. We got Al. How are you, Al?
G'day, Fletch. How are you?
Good. What a gentleman and a scholarly man he is here. We go back a little bit. Before we start talking about his sensational car, great to see you again, Al. You're on a Fletch tour in 2014, and not only was he on a Fletch tour in 2014, he's on another one in 15.
My word, we had so much fun. You actually looked after us very well. although I try not to tell people that. We had so much fun that we're going back to Detroit with you next year.
Yep.
So we're looking forward to it.
Isn't that amazing? Look, Fletch Tours very proud of this one. We've got obviously the Ford, GM and Chrysler Nationals at Carlisle, which are mind-blowing, and then the return in August to Detroit, to the Motown City. And you can't get much better than someone that goes away with you once and then rebooks to come back another time, mate, and I appreciate that.
No, we had a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to Detroit,
Good on you.
which will be really good.
Fantastic inspiration to have a car like this behind us. Tell us about this Buick, Al.
Well, it's a 57 Buick Century. We've recently purchased it, had it about 5 months.
Takes you a century to fill the gas tank, right?
Oh yeah, it doesn't take a century to empty it.
The most worn-out gauge in any American car is the fuel gauge.
Yeah.
But look, you know, you get so much more in return. I mean, look at the opulence here. I mean, what a floating lounge room. I mean, the thing is, too, they're so proud of their product back in their day, they put the year model in centre of grille.
My word. Yeah. No, they're a really good car. It's fantastic to drive. Fantastic in a straight line. A little slow in the corners, wallows a bit in the corners.
But they were never meant to go around corners, were they?
Well, that's for sure, but
That's why they had to build straight roads everywhere, no bends. Like they go around a corner, feel like you're going to fall over, but that doesn't matter.
no, it doesn't matter at all. Look, fun car to drive. We have a lot of fun with it, and
Now, how long have you had it? Just a recent acquisition?
about 5 months we've had it. We actually went on a trip to America looking for one, and we would have bought one over there, but we didn't. We came home, we found this in Dandenong South, so just around the corner. So there you go.
It's incredible. Now, what powers this car, Al?
It's got a 364 nailhead V8, so 6 litre,
Yep.
and it's got the Dynaflow automatic transmission, which and it goes very, very well.
6 litre V8 back in 1957, just amazing, isn't it?
Oh, what a cruiser.
As I mentioned before, too, sitting here in all its glory, I mean, the interior, original interior, is just beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty good, Nick, although under the driver's seat it's getting a little tired, so we'll do some work on that in the next 12 months.
Well, it's had a lot of bum work.
Well, yeah, and it's getting a lot more now. Yeah. So, but we're having a lot of fun. We're just going to drive it for 12 months and then start a bit of a resto on it then.
Good on you.
Yeah.
That's great. Al, lovely to catch up with you, mate. It's good to see you and Meredith here. Two of the nicest people you could meet, and it's wonderful to have you along. Thank you.
Yeah, look, no worries, mate, and we're looking forward to Detroit.
Good on you.
So brace yourself.
Time for a British car today on Classic Restos. How are you, Tony?
I'm good, thanks, Fletch. It's a real thrill to see you here today.
Thank you very much. It's a thrill interviewing you as well. It's not every day of the week that you get to see a 1952 Jaguar.
No, that is true. I have to say the first time I brought it to this event, I did think I'd be the only guy amongst the muscle cars, and I was. But I'm glad I've bought it because it's just a different sort of car that you don't see every day.
It tells me that you must be an extremely patient man.
Yeah, I suppose. I really have to thank my father. He's the patient man. He finished the woodwork. Like, these things have acres and acres of tree in them. Yeah. A lot of work there to do.
Absolutely. It's the last car you want to get a termite in.
No, you're dead right. You're dead right on that.
Under the hood, what's there?
A 3.4 litre twin overhead cam 6-cylinder engine.
Yeah. So when you stop and think about that, a twin overhead cam in 1952, that was incredibly advanced.
That's right, yeah. So Jaguar developed that engine during the Second World War, and it ran up until maybe mid-late 80s, something like that.
I thought you were going to say about 2012.
No.
With all due respects, there's incredible engineering in such a big, heavy car as well. We look at these British cars and we look at their interiors. They've always been big on their timber, haven't they?
Oh, it's just beautiful inside. Sumptuous is the word that comes to mind because it's got beautiful leather and the woodwork, the polished woodwork is just beautiful.
Yeah. Tony, this being the car it is and the element of rarity must mean a lot to you, value.
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So while I was doing it up, I had it insured with Shannons, so I just had laid up cover. Yep. And now that it's up and running, they've kindly invited me into the showroom, and they'll have a look at it and reappraise it.
How cool is that? I mean, while your car is being restored, you can have it insured through them, which is just brilliant.
Oh, absolutely. And to me, the joy of actually taking it to the Moorabbin showroom is I get to look at all the other cars too. So absolutely. That's a great thing. And
major sponsor of Classic Restos, shannons.com.au. Tony, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for sharing the Jag with us.
Thank you, Fletch. It's been a real pleasure for me too.
I say, one thing about the advantages of a British car is a canister such as this that sits atop of the engine. This cylindrical device here, or better known as DEVIS, sits on top of the engine where it's warm. and we see the Billy McMahon or the wing nut, you undo that and take the end of the cylindrical device and you shove your fish and chips up in there and then put the cap back on, thus keeping your fish and chips warm. A distinct advantage in 1952 of the Jaguar motor car.
How'd you like to get on an aeroplane and go somewhere? The United States of America? Fletch Tour 2015? Of course you would. Have a look at this.
You deserve a Fletch tour. See the amazing Ford, GM and Chrysler Nationals at Carlisle events, along with museums and private collections in beautiful Pennsylvania, USA. Then it's the Motown city of Detroit and its region, taking in more die-hard stuff with incredible history. Rounding off with the Woodward Dream Cruise, the largest moving car cruise in the world.
One of the best things about a Fletch tour is you're really looked after.
It's something I've always wanted to do.
Very well organised. The tour company that put it together was great.
Go to classicrestos.com.au and click on the Fletch Tours icon for more information. Hope you're enjoying today's show. Back with more after this.
Time for Wes now on today's show. How are you, Wes?
A bit wobbly, but otherwise driving well.
Good for you. How far have you travelled from?
Oh, just from a retirement village in Brighton East, but the car has been in Adelaide, as have I, for the last 30 years.
Wow.
But we didn't drive it across. I'd have had to start a week before.
Okay, well, look, we know it's an MG. Tell us the year and tell us the model.
It's not quite as old as I am. It's 1934. And it's designated a PA, and it's 846 cc's of imperceptible power.
Hey, you've got to love a guy that jokes about his own brand. Just quickly, what was it like for you when you were a little kid growing up and you actually saw a nice motor car? What was the feeling like back then?
That's when it all started. My father wasn't particularly interested, but it's been the love of my life, apart from my wife, of course, and my daughter and 3 sons. But it's been a great time, and car people are a race apart, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
They are. Tell us about your MG here.
We bought it in 1970, and we lived in Trafalgar, Gippsland at the time. I drove it home from Sydney round the round the coast road. Had to stop at dark because it's a 3-brush generator, and it would keep up with the fuel pump, electric fuel pump, and the distributor, but it wouldn't light up the candles, so I had to stop.
So it's a day car.
Oh, it is indeed, yeah.
Wes, look, it's an absolute pleasure. I know that we've been pretty busy here today with interviews and you've hung around in the heat, and I really appreciate that. But for a gentleman, well, virtually like of 85 years of young,
I
young
think is good.
I think you're incredible, and on behalf of everyone here, thanks for showing up with your beautiful little MG.
It's been a delight, yeah. I love car people, so in all their guises. So thank you, Fletch.
Yep.
It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome, Wes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Time for a 68 Alfa Romeo. What a variety of show this is. We've got American, British, now Italian. How are you, Frankie?
Good, Fletchy.
That's the way, mate. Now, this is a bit of an iconic Alfa.
Yes, 105 Fletch, as you know. Yeah.
Tell us about it.
It's a 68 1750 Series 1. Mm-hmm. So it's the first of the 1750s. They went from the 1600 to the 1750s, and then the 2 litre after that.
Have you had to do much to it in the time you've had it?
No, Fletch. That's the way you see it is the way I bought it.
Good to drive?
Yeah. That's why I bought it. Yeah.
It's a funny thing, you know. Yeah. I mean, I did the Auto Italia in Canberra, and all the owners of the Alphas love the cars, and they just all comment on how nice they do drive.
Yeah, they really are. They're a real driver's car, Fletch. That's the thing that even on the magazines and you read anything, they all talk about how well they are, how well they drive.
Of course, the European heritage too of the overhead cam engine as well.
Yep, spot on, Fletch.
Yeah. We look at the interior. We have an original black interior there, and the timber wheel. Like, it's all very nice.
Yep. No, that is Fletch. It's all genuine, all original, and they only had that interior for that one model. They're actually called like buttress seats.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Like I had a buttress.
Yes. Like I had a buttress. Yes.
I think that the car is stunning. I mean, it's also to the point too where you don't see too many of these, and it goes for quite a few of the cars. One beautiful thing about an event like this is that no 2 cars are the same. And I think that's That's a nice thing about an event.
It is a great event, Fletch. It's a very eclectic show, and it's terrific. I really love it. Yeah.
Good on you, Frankie. Well, look, thank you so much. I appreciate the fact that you did your hair and you turned up today on Fletchy's show.
Thank you, Fletch. Absolute pleasure always. You know that. It's always pleasure.
Thanks, buddy.
Pleasure, Fletch. Thank you.
Time for a Dickie Doyle Z product here, 1968 HK Premier. How are you, Terry?
Not too bad, Fletch.
It's an honest old girl, mate.
It is. Very honest old girl. My father-in-law owned it since 1968 and decided to give it to me.
What words do you put to that?
Oh, you can't actually. I've just got to look after it and keep it as clean as he has.
That's emotional heartstrings just all day long, isn't it?
It is, and it'll stay in the family forever. I'll never sell it. So
it's such a beautiful, clean old girl. It's just an original condition. It's had a smack up the bum. What's going on there, Terry?
Yeah, a few months ago, a lady was admiring the car and she forgot to hit the brake and she hit me up the backside.
I'll tell you what, you've got to give a 10 out of 10 for looking at it. Not only did she look at it, she ran right into it.
She did, and I felt the brunt too, but it's not that bad, so it's going to get fixed. So
imagine how much damage she would have caused if she wasn't looking at it.
Yeah, exactly, mate. It could have gone a lot worse.
Hope your insurance company's looked after you.
Yeah, I'm with Shannons. They look after us,
Of course.
Yeah, they look after us and they've pointed me in the right direction. I went to one place and wasn't happy with the quote that they gave me, and I rang Shannons. They said, take it here and they'll look after you.
Yeah, they're not at the top of their tree for nothing. Down the track, full respray. Are you keeping it almost the, it's not too aggressive to say the patina look, I would imagine, but what are you going to do with it, Terry?
I'm going to keep it as it is. I'm not going to full respray it. It's got the original paint. Keep it all original. Just get them to fix up the back of it, and that's it. I think if I touch it, it's not original anymore, and the father-in-law liked it the way it was, so...
One of the greatest red engines ever made as well, the trusty 186.
Yeah, I've actually re-gasketed it, done the rear main seal on all that when I got it off him, but it's trusty as.
I bet you that was the first time that was done since new too.
Yes, it is. Yeah. It's the first time it's ever been done. Yeah. So anything, same with the gearbox. I think I've done all underneath, the wheel bearings, all that type of stuff, first time ever.
But he used to park by nudge.
Yes, he did. Yeah. As you can tell, there's a few genuine dents on it as well. So, but the golf ball dents are the best ones because where he used to park it.
Bless his heart, and it's good that you've got the car. Good on you, Terry. Great,
Thanks,
mate.
Fletch.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming down.
Oh, thank you, my pleasure.
No worries.
Well, I hope you've really enjoyed this week's episode of Classic Restos here with Mr Willis, his coffee and cars event at Hampton near Melbourne in Victoria. Don't forget, classicrestos.com.au is the website that you need for the DVD box sets of the show, Classic Restos merchandise, contacting us on joining us on a Fletch tour in 2015, along with the major sponsors as well. As I say at the end of every show, no matter where you're watching from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, where you can sign up for the Shannons Club, and Penrite Oil, offering technical assistance 7 days a week.